Cape Cod Broadcasting weaves the listening environments of 99.9 WQRC, Ocean 104.7, WFCC Classical 107.5, Cape Country 104, and CapeCon.com's website experience to reflect the lifestyles of the people who live, work, and play on Cape Cod. We hope that you enjoy this podcast.
Good morning. I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal. I'm here in the studio with Mark Lowenstein, chairman of the Cape Cod chapter of SCORE. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Laura.
Many of our listeners might not be familiar with SCORE, so let's start with an overview of what the organization is.
SCORE is a part of the SBA, a chapter of that, and SCORE has 10,000 volunteers around the United States. It's volunteer people who have given their time to help small businesses, nonprofits, and people with an idea who want to start a business. SCORE started in 50 years ago. The Cape Cod chapter started in 1970. We have 43 volunteers, mentors, we call them, on the Cape and Islands and Cape Cod mainland, and we provide services, business services, business advice, how to start a business. We'll answer questions about the problems that people may be having, how to improve their business. Our intention is to help the Cape Cod economy and small businesses.
Now, who are the mentors? Are they people who have been in business?
Yes, the people have been in business in a variety of different industries and a variety of different specialties. We have a few CPAs. We have people from a couple of lawyers, retired lawyers, though we don't give formal legal advice. We have people who have been in the retail business, the manufacturing business, the restaurant business. We have a whole variety of talent and experience in the group.
Now, how would someone go about getting involved as a mentor in the organization?
Well, you can go to the SCORE national website, score.org, and on that site there is a place where it says, do you want to volunteer? And you fill out a small application, and it goes to the appropriate chapter based on your zip code. And if you're a client who's looking for services, there's a score.org, same website, and you can either get services on a face-to-face physical meeting, and that's based on your zip code, or you can get actually email mentoring, which can be from anywhere in the country. There's a list of 300 people who have agreed to counsel people via phone and email.
Now, if you're interested in getting the advice, are you matched with someone in your industry, or how does that work?
Well, if you email mentoring, you see a whole choice of people based on some keywords you put in. If you contact the local chapter and tell them that you're in the restaurant business or you're a contractor, we will try to fit you with a person with that background. Many times people come in and they think their problem is A, but after we discuss it with them, their problem is really B. So the first visit, you will meet two people, and they'll sit there and try to ask questions and understand what your business is or what your idea is. And then they'll do general advice, and if needed, they will then call in a specialist in the group, somebody who has an area of expertise in your particular situation.
Now, does it cost money to be a part of it?
The service is totally free. So the 43 people volunteer their time. The U.S. government, through the Small Business Administration, provides office space in Hyannis. And so there's no charge to clients who come in.
So that seems like a way that makes SCORE really unique in terms of when people are looking, perhaps they have a startup business or looking for some advice. This is really the only place where you could get it for free. Is that right?
Yes, it is that. And when you think about it, most of the members have a lot of experience. And in their professional lives, you would have paid them a fair amount of money for their advice, and they're giving it away free because they live here and they're trying to help the local economy and local businesses.
And is it usually retired people who are the mentors?
Yeah, the majority of our people are retired. We have some people who are working or who are working part-time in looking to retire at some point. And so it's a range. The majority of people are retired.
And how does it work in terms of confidentiality if you're sort of talking about your business and sharing business secrets? How does that work?
Sure. Each member signs an annual ethics pledge, which, confidentiality and a whole bunch of other issues that are there. So it's totally confidential. We do not talk about it with anybody else other than the individual mentors who may need to know about your situation.
And I noticed on your website that SCORE sponsors workshops. Tell me about those and how do people get involved with those?
Right. We offer training. So there's a 5-week how to start a business type of workshop with a booklet. The price, I think, is around $129. We offer it once a year at 4 Cs, Cape Cod Community College, and once a year at Upper Cape Folk Tech near the Bourne Bridge. We also offer one usually annually in Martha's Vineyard. Those are available. We are now starting a new initiative, and we're going to be working starting in the fall with local chambers of commerces around the Cape, where we're going to have short courses for their members.
And are those services all free, those workshops? Do those have a cost?
Yeah, the workshop that we run is a small cost, $129. And the chambers, some may do it free, some may not. That hasn't been determined yet. But the price is relatively inexpensive. With the $129, you get 5 2-hour sessions plus a workbook, a booklet that talks about the issues of starting a small business.
And so then I noticed you have a number of online resources on your website, too, and it looked like some of those are those types of workshops or ways to put together business plans, things like that. Is that right? Right.
There's a variety of workshops that SCORE National does, mostly webinars, and those are all free, I believe, and it covers a fairly wide range of topics. So that's there. And there's also on our website business plan templates. So if you're thinking of business, you can download a blank template, and it helps step you through how to write up a business plan.
Now, are most of the people who come to SCORE people starting a new business, or do you have people coming in who perhaps have been in business for a number of years and running into a rough spot? What's the typical person or business person who comes in?
I don't know that there is a typical. The range of people come from what I call I have an idea. I'd like to start a business. So they haven't been in business, to people who are already in business, usually small businesses with maybe 1 to 10 employees. And they either need some advice. They may try to be selling their business. They want to expand their business. They want to decide if they can branch out into another area. So people who are starting a business, people who are in business, and we've added a third area this year, which is nonprofits. We believe on the Cape there's a large number of smaller nonprofits that may need some outside advice for people. So we've been doing some counseling with a number of nonprofits, the names which I won't mention, on the Cape to try to help them and their board members run the nonprofit more efficiently. That still contributes to our goal of creating jobs and improving the Cape Cod economy.
And where are you located? I guess you're here in Hyannis, but are some of the workshops or the mentoring, do they take place in your office, and where is that?
Yeah, we're on Communications Way. There's an industrial park off of Independence Drive. If you go to the website, you can get the exact address. And again, we occasionally will have events at other places where we can get meeting space. But the normal face-to-face, where you sit down with the 2 mentors, is in off Independence Drive, Communications Way.
I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal. We're talking about the Cape Cod chapter of SCORE with Mark Lowenstein, the chairman of the Cape Cod chapter of SCORE. Now, when someone comes into SCORE to have a mentoring session, how long does a typical session take?
Yeah, our standard session is an hour. So you come in and we do an hour. If there's follow-up, which most of the time there is, you will schedule another meeting with the mentors at a later date that you agreed upon, either on a standard schedule, which is Monday through Thursday at 9 to 1, or many of the mentors will come in off hours if somebody's working or that's not convenient.
Now, you were mentioning that people come in for the mentoring and the advice anywhere from I have an idea to further along as a business person. What are the types of ways that a SCORE mentor can help a business? I mean, there's advice, and does it go beyond that?
Well, there's advice. Our experience has been most people come in, and the 2 weak areas that people have deficiencies in is either financial, how to do accounting, keep better track of my financial situation, or also marketing. Sometimes it's the old story where you don't see the forest for the trees. People have been doing it one way for a while, and it's been working, but now it's not working. And we allow you to get a fresh perspective on it and allow you to get some different opinions about what you may want to try. So that's most of it's, again, there's 2 ways SCORE can help you, face-to-face, physically in Hyannis, or you can go online and get email mentoring. A number of our counselors on the Cape also do help people around the country via email.
And now, does the mentor do some research into the particular business, or do they sort of rely on their own expertise because they're in the same field, or how does that work?
Well, actually both. I mean, speaking from my perspective only, when people come in, I have a wide range of experience, so I'm able to answer many of the questions, but sometimes I don't know that industry. I have to do some homework, or things have changed since the last time I did it. So most of the mentors have a fair amount of experience, but they'll also be willing to sit down and do homework and try to understand what's currently going on in that industry or business now.
And, of course, things are changing so quickly with online businesses. Do you find that the mentors have some experience in that online area where people may be looking into marketing online, and some of these, it seems to change day to day, the business of technology?
We have some of our members have experience in that, and we also have a few other people who actually aren't full-time members of ours, kind of auxiliary resources that are in there that have volunteered to help out on occasion when we ask.
And I noticed on your website that there's some talk about advisory boards, and I know people often recommend that, particularly for new businesses, to have an advisory board. How does SCORE work in that realm?
Sure. So we actually have a couple businesses, one woman in particular, again, won't mention any names, who has been coming to SCORE for probably 5 to 7 years. And she comes in every quarter and meets with the same 2 people who act as an advisory board. Sometimes it's not because there are problems, but just to talk about things. The key is, especially if you're a small business person, you don't have a lot of people that you can bounce ideas off of to give you a different slant or a different way to look at it. So we provide that. We will also actually provide a formal advisory board if somebody requests that.
And then I also have noticed over the years that you give out annual awards. How does that work, and what's the deal with that?
Sure. So every May, it was just a month or so ago, we had an awards breakfast. Every Chamber of Commerce on the Cape and Islands, we asked them for their local Small Business of the Year person. And we had I think it was 18 chambers this year, gave us that. And we pick a Small Business of the Year which we've worked with that has had growth and success. This past year was a young woman named Jamie Boland, who was Cape Cod event planner, did wedding planner, who grew her business from a part-time deal to now she employs several people in it. That's the kind of story we're thrilled to have.
Now, when you look at the Cape's economy and you say one of the missions of SCORE is to help the local economy, what do you see as being at SCORE and talking to local business people? Is the economy improving? How does it look? What's the forecast?
Well, I mean, we also work with the local banks, and I think the economy has improved. It's not gangbusters, so to speak, at this moment, but it's certainly better than it was 3 or 4 years ago. The Cape economy, by its very nature, is very dependent on tourism, seasonal type of businesses. And I just had a discussion today with someone. you have rent that you have to pay all year long, and yet your business is really only strong for 3 to 6 months. So it's a different deal on the Cape. You have to plan for that and understand that when you do your financial statements. Otherwise, you'll have trouble.
And we only have a couple of minutes left. Are there any new activities that SCORE is perhaps involved in, or what message would you like to give out to people in terms of perhaps they might want to either mentor or be mentored by the volunteers at SCORE?
Sure. So our primary focus is somebody who has an idea and wants to go into business, somebody in business who needs some help and wants to improve things, or just wants somebody else to look things over, so to speak. And again, nonprofits. A couple of the initiatives this year, we're going to be making more of an effort for women in business. And we are working with a local bank, which is at this point not public, to sponsor some of these activities. So we are there to help. We have skilled professional people with a lot of experience, and we're free.
Well, it's an amazing resource here on the Cape. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I've been talking to Mark Lowenstein, of the chairman of the Cape Cod chapter of SCORE, which does mentoring for businesses on the Cape. I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal.
This podcast is a presentation of Cape Cod Broadcasting, which is solely responsible for its content. Thank you for listening. For more information, please visit us at capecodbroadcasting.com.